Hello friends and welcome to Pathologic Volume 8 Episode 13, where we'll be solving something called a Scrin, and let's jump right into it by taking a look at the rules. In Scrin, we will shade some cells so that each orthogonally connected area of shaded cells is in the shape of a rectangle. So we can see this in the solution. We have a bunch of rectangles in the shaded regions. Orthogonally connected just means connected by edges, and that is self-explanatory in this example solution. The shaded rectangles must all form a single loop through diagonal connections with no branches. This is where it gets a little weird. So starting from this rectangle, we can follow through these diagonal connections through all of the rectangles and end back up where we started. We never had a fork in the road along the way. And another way of thinking about that is that each of the rectangles will touch other rectangles at exactly two of its corners. It's not sufficient, but that is necessary for that to be true. And all cells with circles must be shaded and must belong to different shaded rectangles. And if a circle contains a number, its shaded rectangle must contain the indicated number of cells. So all of the given circles, first off, are part of rectangles. They're not the unshaded squares. And the ones that have numbers in them give the size of the rectangle. In this example solution, they're all 1 by n rectangles, but there's nothing in the rules that forces that to be true. But all these are pretty small. And also, it's worth pointing out that it is not required that a rectangle have a circle inside it. It's okay if it has no circle at all. We just can't have free floating circles that are not part of a rectangle. Those are the rules of Scrin, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Scrin was set by Shye. We have a couple 1s in the grid, so those are simply givens. And we have a 2 that is touching this 1 at a corner. In fact, the fact that this is on the edge of the grid means we know that we will have rectangles touching both of these corners because we can't have them touching those corners. So these 2 cells must be parts of rectangles. The same is going to be true down here. And in this case, we know the size of that rectangle, so we can draw that in. We know that once we've finished a rectangle, it can't border any other shaded cells along the edges, so let's mark those in. And think about where we can go from there. We've got constraints in both of these cases. So these both have to be shaded because they have actually, we can do that with all of the circles, I suppose. And in this case, we know this is a rectangle of size 3, and that has to be a 1 by 3, and we know the orientation of that. So let's finish that one up. The 4 clue could be a 1 by 4 or a 2 by 2. If it were a 2 by 2 though, it would touch this rectangle, and that's not allowed. So it is a 1 by 4. It can't go, there's not enough room for it to go horizontally, so it's going to go vertically. And then let's look down here. We've got similar things happening because this 3 is defined the same way this one was. We know it's, in this case, horizontal, and it doesn't have any neighboring cells. That gives us a dead end on this 3, so it's going to have to go horizontally. And that's it for the easy stuff. So we can start thinking about the loop property. So the loop, let's say, comes up here through this. Where does it go next? It has 2 options. It could travel up to this cell, or down here to this cell. If it went down to this cell, on the face of it, that's fine, but that then continues the path down here, and we're never going to be able to have that connect up to the starting point because it would have to cross through itself. We would have a path that goes from one edge to the other with stuff on either side, and it would break those apart. So this is not where they connect. This must go up top. This side has to continue through this corner and links up here. So this is already touching two rectangles, so it doesn't have one there. Same deal here. It's already touching two rectangles, so nothing there. So these are stranded over here. We're never going to enter there. So we've got a path from this rectangle, which could get larger, and all the way around to this one, which we know gets larger. So what does this one do? What are our options? Is there room for it to be a 1x6? Not horizontally, obviously. Vertically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can see that won't work, but let's get back to that in a moment. So 1x6 could be vertical, and then the other option is a 2x3, which could be this rectangle or this rectangle. So let me tell you why I believe that this can't be a vertical 1x6. Let me pencil it in. If this were a vertical 1x6, where does the next rectangle in the chain come? These two corners are on an edge, so we can't connect there, and this one has a dead cell next to it. So this is not how it works. It's either this or it's this. Either way, we're definitely covering these cells, and this is not part of it. What can this 3 do? It can't come south, because if it did, that bounds this rectangle in both directions. It can't grow larger, and it needs to become a 6. So this does not go south. That means what? It can't go north, because then we'd have a non-rectangular shape there. So it must go east. That is required. That forces this 6 region to be a 3x2 horizontally. And we've got to keep the loop coming, so it's got to go through this cell, up to this one. It's got to come up through here, and this can't extend north, because then again we'll have no way of continuing the loop. We'll be on the edge. So it's got to stop there, and then it's got to link up to here, which must connect back to here. So we have to draw those in. And there we have a full loop. So that is how we solve a scrin.